I'm Dan, and welcome to Gaming Comments, the show where I talk about anything games. And today, I'm going back and talking about Nintendo. They had a Nintendo Direct a couple weeks ago, and it had everyone hyped on the future of Nintendo, especially with Twilight Princess HD coming out. We already kind of knew that, but they officially announced it. And then, of course, the old Pokemon games are coming back as downloadable titles in the Nintendo eShop. And then the big reveal of Cloud being in Smash Brothers. I'm not going in on that, but Nintendo had raised our hype, like up here, getting us ready for what was coming. And then they came out and released Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, followed by Mario Tennis. And those games are really lackluster and not to the quality of we'd expect from Nintendo. Now, granted, the actual board game part of Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival is not bad. It's got a lot of the charm from the Animal Crossing series and a lot of the nuances that you get from Animal Crossing in general. You get that feel of Animal Crossing, but it's kind of on the boring side. I've played the game a few times with my kids, and we can only play like really one game before we're kind of tired of it. And then we have to kind of step away from it and then come back to it later. There is still something there that draws us coming back, but not much. And the mini games are, for the most part, a hot mess. Um, the amiibo card functionality in those games are really terrible. There are a couple notable exceptions. I find the island minigame, I really enjoy that altogether, but unfortunately it is just a one-player minigame. And if it had been three players controlling each of these characters, it would have been a hell of a lot better, in my opinion. But it's still a great game in that specific minigame in particular. Now we move on to Mario Tennis. Yeah, that's basically just Mario Tennis. It doesn't function poorly. You're not getting anything extra. You don't have all the unlockables and extra modes that you would expect from a Mario Tennis game. And that's really unfortunate. I feel that it would have been better to release it as, say, a $20 or $30 downloadable title. I think that would have been a great title to release probably even in December rather than releasing it now. But I feel that maybe Nintendo was forced to release this game earlier than it should have been because of Star Fox being pushed to next year. And that's really unfortunate because they released two subpar titles when they should have had their big guns. Now, you could have argued, yes, Zelda was supposed to come out this year too, and let's face it, I was hoping that would come out this year, but I really didn't expect it to. Uh, it's a title that I am hugely excited for. I'm a huge Zelda fan. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a huge Zelda fan. I've owned every single Zelda title since the original. And unfortunately, it got pushed back, but I'm sure it's for the better overall. I just don't like that the end of this year is really kind of leaning towards that this is really the end of the Wii U. I was hoping that even though, yes, we're going to have the announcement of NX next year, that they would still support it in a real meaningful fashion. And it looks like after Zelda, you're really not going to get anything on the Wii U, which is kind of unfortunate because Nintendo didn't do that with the original NES. They supported it well into the Super NES. And ever since, I'd say, maybe the GameCube, they really didn't support their games after that. Um, it's really unfortunate, but that's all has to do with the fact that they aren't attracting third parties to their consoles to support their system so they can do something else. They're really forced to go on to the the new console well before it really should. And they have no ability to really keep going on their old consoles, where they could have in the past because they were the big thing. Without third parties helping supply some of these gaps, it's really up to Nintendo to do everything for this console. And it makes me wonder how long they can last doing this. If the NX really doesn't do anything, much like the Wii U has, where they've released great games on the system, but because there's no third party support for it, you're not going to have the wide variety of games you'd want to expect to keep people coming back to this console, when you're really only coming back to it every couple months here and there, whenever Nintendo actually releases something. And it's unfortunate that possibly their better games released in October compared to November, when they should have had that big punch. But I guess you can say on the flip side, you had huge titles coming out in November, and do you really want your titles going up against the likes of Call of Duty, the likes of Fallout, the likes of Star Wars? Do you want those titles to be buried under the weight of that, much like unfortunately Tomb Raider did? It's gotten very positive reviews, Tomb Raider, but the sales aren't there because it's going up against a lot of these big titles. But that's all I really have to say on the subject. What do you think? Leave your comments down below. And as always, feel free to subscribe, or you can follow me on Twitter at LunarLightENT. Now, I'm planning on recording a whole bunch of videos this week because I'm actually on vacation from my actual job. So expect more content to be coming. I'm not going to release it all this week, but a lot's going to be recorded, so it should last me well into the new year, because I have an idea for a new show regarding actually amiibos. So until next time, bye.